Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes have been known for their hotness when it comes to recruiting, landing the big dogs, getting the big fish, getting it done. But could there be some trouble? Coral Gables, could there be a little bit of maybe overspending? Some fear that things aren't operating like they should be? Well, some people close to the program feel like there might be. We're going to talk about it, read about it, break it all down. And I may be thinking, John, you're typically talking Florida, you're being a hater. I'm just coming out here as a abiding citizen trying to help and provide some information. Let's roll the intro. Let's talk about it, baby. All right, boys and girls. Now, look, we've got to take everything as at context, grain of salt. I understand how this thing works. I get it, okay? We've got a Twitter account here, DBriz Media Group. Respect for these guys. I've been following these guys for quite some time now. I would say in relevance that they cover Miami football and media as similar to what we are. Very passionate about that program. We've been in our own little beast on the internet, as all great rivalries are. But he posted this tweet, and it kind of piqued my interest because there's some things on here that we've on this show I've talked about. One in regards to Will Harris, which we'll get into about some concerns. There have been some things that I've monitored from afar that I've had genuine opinions about. Okay, one being landing the highest paid, essentially offensive tackle of all time in Jackson Cantwell. The number was 2.5, then it went to 3 million. There's a lot of money being thrown around. Miami's never been afraid to throw that money, but there's a line for everything, and maybe that line is starting to be pushed back a little bit. Now he tweets this out. It starts off with this: Mario's elite recruiting was supposed to be a competitive edge for the Canes. Like I said, and 100% agree, that is something that when Mario showed up to Miami, that was a big thing. Why do I know this? Why do I agree with this? Because when Billy came to Florida, that same narrative was pushed to us. So we've seen some great recruiting battles go down over the last couple of years now between the two of them, and I would say that Mario has definitely pulled out the edge on some bigger time guys. Has it necessarily paid off like it probably should have? I'll leave that for you guys to debate because I want to keep this thing as non-biased as possible, okay? Next thing is the SEC badge too big a hurdle to land whales at premium spots beyond the offensive line? Now, when I say that they've lost some big-time commits, that's exactly where it's been, at the offensive line. Miami has dominated when it comes to landing big-time guys, and I would even say has done a great job of developing. Outside of that, though, it's been a little of a head-scratcher. Think about the quarterback position. Running back, they've done well, but that's a dime a dozen. It's very easy to be successful there. When you start looking at maybe linebackers and big-time defensive tackles, that's where it starts to slide a bit. I know they've got a few in there, but the quality, not just quantity. Now, he tweets following Gabby's latest post. Gabby is a Miami Heat insider, okay? Here are the most talked about points from the ITU boards. There's a notable disconnect between ITU boards sentiment and Kane spaces. Full disclosures, these aren't my takes, just sharing what's being said. For those of you that don't quite know what's going on, there's got your boards, your forums that fans go on and people and insiders chit-chat, communicate, express their thoughts. Then you have spaces where people may or may not be insiders, claim to be insiders, and are just having full-blown conversations about the program, expressing their concerns, expressing what they're hearing. And he basically has taken the combination of the two. Again, take this with what you will, but you'd be surprised. These college football fanatics, they like to know what's going on, all right? Number one, if Miami's stuck in the ACC, can't land top talent, then we need a coach who can maximize the talent we do have. That's not Mario, according to multiple posters. Now, that was kind of what I was alluding to earlier, is that, look, although Miami has crushed when it has come to landing some big-time guys, there has been a massive question mark on the development list. Let's point to this previous year where they had to be extremely heavy in the portal, which is fine, right? If that's your rhythm, if that's your recipe for success. However, Miami's done a phenomenal job with top-tier classes over the last 3 years. I'm talking top 10, some cracked even the top 5. If you've had that since Mario has been there, why are we the third year in, the year that you're recruiting, basically your recruiting cycles are now supposed to be hitting? This should be it. This is what you've been building for. Should be rocking and rolling. Why are you 10, 12 guys, 15, 16 guys in the portal, replacing big-time spots? What's happening? Where is the development? You're going now into your third year, having to have a rent a quarterback once again, and you're going to be in the same position once again next year. Again, these are genuine questions that obviously fit. We, as Gators, we've made fun, we've poked about, right? But now the guys on the inside are calling questions. Some believe Miami spent half of the NIL budget on Jay Cantwell. That's a major investment that may be limiting flexibility elsewhere. Now, half may be a bit aggressive. Maybe they're talking about for the year. I don't know. If that $3 million that kid got was for the year, that's crazy. I don't know what their budget is for the year. We know that Ohio State spent around 14, 16 million to uphold their roster last year, right? That included the entire roster. That included the big portal moves, okay? And if you go and you sling $3 million at a kid that's never played a snap, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Speaking from somebody where we just kind of came off of a little bit, Florida has come off the back of some drama with an edge player that asked for $750,000, and our boosters went absolutely berserk with that kind of questioning, with that ask, right? And we're hearing about an offensive lineman getting $3 million. Maybe they have to, budget might be a little close. Now, they've closed some guys since then, right? They haven't been completely silent, but it doesn't have the excitement, the fire that Miami's recruiting usually has up until this point. Again, too early to tell. I wouldn't read too much into that, but when I did see that happen, I go, man, it'll be interesting to see if they're able to close out like they have over the last couple of years. Top 10 recruiting isn't enough. Mario doesn't win out by scheming. He wins by stacking talent. Without elite classes, many think he won't win big. Now, this again, I understand where this is coming from. This is backing the fact that they just were heavily in the portal. And with the evolution of college football, stacking talent is going to be extremely tough, okay? Because if you guys are promising a lot of these young cats money up front, which is why we're seeing maybe the lack of development, maybe we're seeing the in and outs, the portal movement so often, because it's promising this and then the confusion happens. I don't know, but top 10 recruiting, I mean, Miami's done really well with it. I know that everybody wants top of the number one class. I understand that. Sometimes you don't have the number one class. You got to be able to retain that talent and grow that talent. Just because you can recruit top 3 every year, if you're unable to develop it, stacking it means absolutely nothing. Here's the big one. In Florida and all SEC schools are battling this, so this is why this is relevant. D-line equals premium NIL market. Most top defensive linemen want huge money. We just said that. And to play in the SEC. Miami can't offer both. That's a major problem. Well, the SEC one is 100% fact that they cannot offer it. So if you can't offer that, then you better be paying a little bit extra than everybody else. And so that's where the Cantwell situation comes into play, because now if there is a top edge asking for $750, you probably have to pay them $1.2 to be in the conversation. Like you just said, because you can't offer the SEC. So the only thing you can offer them is a big-time buck. Now, here's where I love. Look, the fan of me loves this because we always talk smack about the ACC being crap. This is an ACC guy talking about other people in the ACC showing their concerns about playing in the ACC. Like that's where this is headed to. And again, we just got done talking about Florida landing a top-tier defensive lineman, but losing out on 3 of them to the likes of Georgia, Texas, and LSU. The rest of them, James Johnson, number 1 defensive lineman in the class, Georgia. 5-star edge, Trent Henderson, LSU. Vonnie Cleveland, top 50 defensive lineman, Texas. Right? So they're what he is alluding to, they're all going, and I can assure you, all those guys wanted some extra moolah, baby. And Florida fans were upset because we didn't land all 4 of them. I had to remind them, they all didn't go to one place. They got divvied up because not everybody can pay what these guys are asking for. It seems like we've shifted from that offensive line being a high quality to the defensive line, and it could just be like draft class. The quality of defensive line guys this go around is extremely high. A lot of these guys are showing year 1 guys, day 1 starters, extremely physical, great twitch, great speed. The development in high school is getting through the roof, and it's helping these kids get paid tremendously. And lastly, a big one that we talked about well before the show, one of our guys, a Gator guy, Silk from Stadium and Gale, he said on his show that I don't believe Will Harris will be at Miami. He wants to go into the NFL. This was before he took the job at Miami. He broke that he would be in the NFL. Okay? This is now coming from the horse's mouth. Safety recruiting is messy. Okay? Some say Will Harris seems checked out. Other schools are telling recruits he's NFL bound soon. Listen, this is the name of the game. If there is blood in the water, these sharks are going to bite on it. These same sharks utilized that against Deion Sanders last year when his kids were going pro. Like, he's not going to be there, right? Things were kind of... Everybody's going to use what they can. If there's any sin that he's not focused, that he's not dialed on, that he's had conversations with the NFL. Mind you, if you don't know this, Miami fans, he came from the Chargers to Florida before he went to you guys, okay? Florida picked him out of San Diego. Maybe he's sick of the recruiting. Maybe he's sick of the job. I don't know. We really don't know. I know there was talks for him going to Louisiana, the Saints. That was the original conversation. So very interesting thing here, seeing this all shake up. I know Miami fans are going to watch this and get in the comment section and try to eat me alive and say that listen, I love covering college football. I saw this and go, this actually seems like a very interesting thing to talk about because, again, I respect this account that tweeted this. They seem to be pretty level-headed for most of the time outside when they're, talking smack to me, which is, it's all fun. It's all good in game. I love it. But have a great perspective, great takes on their own organization. Great thoughts, great opinions. Interesting. Let me know down in the comment section. How do you feel about these takes? There's 1 through 5. Which do you feel, okay, yeah, I agree with that one. That is an issue as a Miami fan. This one I feel like was probably a little bit of a hot take. We all got thoughts here. Are you freaking out about Miami right now and their recruiting and where things stand with Mario Cristobal? Is Carson Beck okay? Where are those things at? Or is it just nonsense in the offseason? People got to find things to talk about. If there isn't enough momentum, sometimes it gets darker before it gets brighter. You know what I mean? That's just the way of life. What I do also know is the ACC Media Days will be coming in the coming days. Somehow, some way, things muster up from those media days. Maybe we'll have a better picture. Maybe it underlines some of these things we're already talking about. Maybe we get some clarity. We'll hear from you guys. Let us know in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, you still watched. Peace and love, baby.